I wanted to thank you all for tuning in to the Family Imprint Show. And today I have a special guest, Debbie Pokornik. She's a host of a wonderful podcast called Vibrant, Powerful Mom Show. And I wanted to start by welcoming you to the show today, Debbie.
Oh, thank you, Joanna. I love chatting with you, so I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, that's great. I'm always curious what the interest is behind someone who picks a topic as widespread as powerful moms. What brought you into that as a focus for your podcast?
I had a wonderful job with the school division that I absolutely loved at the same time as I was raising my kids. And so I was deep into parent education and I loved talking about that. That was my job with the school, was to be a bridge between the school and the home and to help parents and schools see each other's point of view, that kind of thing. I ended up realizing that, parenting really isn't all about parenting skills. It's a lot about who we are, who we're being, who we want to be as a parent. And so I call it the ultimate course in personal development.
Excellent. And so, what was that like for you, the transition from having your kids young and at home, and sounds like how involved you were, to I understand now that your kids are all grown up and likely living out of the home. And what's it like to transition, to change gears, if you will, into parenting adults and to having that different style of relationship?
It's thrilling, it's scary, it's confusing. It's all of those things because I was a very involved mom. The schools that I worked in were one of them was my kids' schools. So I was there, I was involved, I was doing stuff. I really wanted to be the best mom I could be. So I was really focusing a lot of energy on that. And I was a much better mom because of that, because I couldn't go out and talk to a group of parents about losing your cool and know that I had lost my cool at home and now I was trying to hide it, right? So I
Cool.
was very upfront and I got very used to really sharing my stories about those kinds of things. And then as my kids went through each transition, what I found was I think, oh, this is my favorite stage. Oh, this is my favorite stage. Oh, but with each one also came all the different trials and tribulations and challenges. And I would think, okay, now I need to learn about this. So one of the greatest gifts that I was given, I think, was to really notice what the gifts, or not the gifts, what the eye-opening moments were so that I could learn from them and not take them personally. I don't know why I was given that gift because I know that's a challenge for so many people, but I always was able to kind of be objective and take that step back and say, you know what, this isn't about me personally. This is the stage that they're going through.
That's it.
Yeah, so now I can't say that I'm done parenting. I have definitely shifted a long time ago now from parent to more mentor as I went through the teen years.
Mhm.
And now I will always be their parent, but I no longer have to parent them.
Mhm.
So my oldest is he's 24, and my youngest is 21. So the 21-year-old is still at home with
Mhm.
us, works for me actually, which is absolutely fantastic, but very interesting having them go through the different phases and having me be there and try to stay in that mentor role without taking over, wanting to do it all for them and say, nope, this is where you're wrong. This is, what you have to do. So I don't know all the answers.
None of us do. And I love how transparent and open you are, whether it's sharing with, other moms or on your show and even with your own children, it sounds like.
Mhm.
And so what has been that piece in the relationship? Not only are you now sort of the parent to a grown woman, but what's it like to work together, mother-daughter?
Well, actually, that's an interesting question, and this is going to surprise you a little bit. So, my youngest is actually transgender.
Fascinating.
Only I didn't know this. I don't think he even really knew it until he was older. So about 18 years old, I think, is right around where
Oh,
that happened. And so it has been a very interesting journey of discovery, of just changing what I didn't think I had a lot of stereotypes. Like I didn't follow the gender roles. Both my kids played together, played outdoors. I had rules about guns for both of them, that whole thing. And yet I really had to start becoming aware of the way I thought. right?
Uh-huh.
So when this happened, I guess I shouldn't say it like that because it's not something that happened. But as this came to my awareness, I realized that he was struggling a lot with school at that point, and he had always been very, very gifted in school.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure why. He just had a whole bunch of anxiety stuff coming up. He still didn't know that he was transgender at that time. So he ended up having to be at home to finish his schooling, which
Oh.
is very scary. That's not homeschooling, by the way.
Mhm.
They have a term for it, home study, where he's doing long distance learning through a program. But I realized pretty quickly that was the only way that he was going to graduate.
I see.
So, yeah, so I had to sort of back right off. Well, then I realized after he graduated, which is amazing. I got to tell you, the people even at the school were very surprised that, he had dropped out of school to take it by home study and stuck with all the deadlines, got everything done, and did fantastic.
That's
They're not
that's
used to those kind of students.
it. That's self-motivation to get us through. Wow.
I thought, how is he going to be able to handle the regular workday? He's an evening night owl. He's got all this anxiety about certain things. He's sensitive to all kinds of noises and smells, and there's all this other health things going on for him, a lot of which corrected when he came out as transgender and started on testosterone and was able to truly be in his body and to feel good about himself as a person. And all of that changed for him. But I still knew he really probably would struggle with working outside of the home. So I said, "Why don't you do some work for me?" He started working for me, and oh my gosh, he is just fantastic. He's so gifted at so many creative things because he has this really strong, beautiful feminine side that he's fully connected to and without apology, right?
Yeah.
And then he has this beautiful masculine side that he's also learning to really explore and to embrace. And so he's got this beautiful balance. So it really isn't me working with my daughter, which is what I would have thought I was going to be doing. It is me working with my beautiful, wonderful son.
I
Yeah.
just love the acceptance and the love and the agreeing to his path that I'm hearing as you explain this. And I can't help to think about a show that really deeply impacted me called Sense8. I'm not sure if you
Yes.
or your son have watched it.
Yes, we have.
For the listeners, it was developed by the Wachowski brothers who created The Matrix, who are now the Wachowski sisters, who actually moved through the same, maybe a similar experience to your child in changing genders and what that means. And the story have many threads to it, but one of the main things that stuck out with me is the character Nomi, who wasn't accepted by her family for her choice, who,
Right.
that pain of really feeling separate from the identity of who she knew herself to be, and feeling that rejection or lack of belonging in her own family, and the inherent struggle that would be there. So it's just so touching to hear how not only are you making it work from a logistical perspective with business and exploring creative gifts, but also in this place of true acceptance. It's so heartwarming.
Yes. Like this is part of my journey. This is not happening to me, it's happening for me.
Mm.
What's the most important thing here? Our relationship with each other. What is it that I need to learn to be more accepting of? Because that's what's going to help us to move forwards. And so both my husband and I actually, I think, have been very open and accepting to the whole experience to say, you know what, this is his journey. And we're support. We're the support staff or the support role in this
Mhm.
movie. And so I can look at things from my perspective and I can say, what will most help me to be accepting? What are the things, if I have any worries about it, what are they? And what can I do about those worries so that I'm using my energy wisely rather than getting all hung up in the what ifs or if only did I cause this, all these silly kinds of things, so that I wasn't rejecting him in any way. And you know, my oldest has also challenged me in totally different ways. And so that too, though, forced me to take a step back and say, what's the most important thing here? To me, what I teach is all about our relationship. So
Mhm.
I'm going to focus on what's still going to build our relationship. I'll let him know what I think about his behavior. You know, I'm going to be honest, but I'm not going to love him any less
Mhm.
simply because of choices that he's making, because that's not what unconditional love is, and that's what I believe in. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And so, how much would you say of your own experience with parenting influences either the guests you choose, the questions you ask, how kind of the interviews take their flow? Would you say it's a huge factor?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, over the years, because I embraced my role, I guess, of being open so fully. And, you know, I just want people to know I'm not tooting my own horn here. I still have lots of hangups, lots of problems, lots of things I do wrong. It's just that when they come up, I go, oh, isn't that interesting? And I take a step back and I really look at them. So when I meet people like you who I have interviewed on my show, and
Mhm.
a lot of my guests, there's this instant connection because we can feel that, you know, we're all walking the same path, but we're at different points on that path. Our journeys look different, but there's still so much to learn from that. So it's hugely affected what I share, how I share it, how accepting I am of people. All of those pieces has
Mhm.
really, I mean, it's my parenting that has helped me to be that person.
Oh, that's so important. I think we need people in that very open and accepting position to begin to explore some of the topics that we've just even touched on today. And so, if people would like to learn more about your approach and who you're interviewing, where can they find your show to watch, Debbie?
Well, Vibrant Powerful Moms is actually on Transformation Talk Radio, which if you Google it, it will come up. If you're looking for iTunes specifically, put in Debbie Pokornik Transformation Talk Radio and you'll get the show. But it's on my website as well, which is empowering NRG, three letters, nrg.com. And yeah, it's out. It's all over the place because of them being syndicated all over.
Oh, that's so helpful. More people can hear your message and these really supportive interviews that just give a lot of tips and techniques for managing this whole thing we call parenting. That's
Yeah.
wonderful, Debbie. Well, thanks so much for sharing so openly and being a guest here on the Family Imprint Show. It was wonderful to share time with you as always.
Oh, you are very welcome. It's my pleasure.